I've been that guy. While you was at home doing this, I was in the club making moves.
Jake Paul, if this is not going to be, curated into a little dance around exhibition, could find himself in a way of getting seriously hurt here, like Francis Ngannou did. Francis Ngannou was an MMA fighter that got blasted out by Anthony Joshua.
Anthony Joshua finally spoke up after Jake Paul's new training video shocked social media. Fans were studying every slow-motion punch and power combo Paul showed. Joshua's response has added even more excitement. As a former heavyweight champion, he's not someone who gets impressed easily, but he's clearly watching closely. With Paul looking faster, sharper, and more focused than before, Joshua's reaction shows he respects Paul's progress, but still believes his own experience will win when they meet on fight night.
Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua. Really, in my view, it's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area-level fighter, a British area-level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves.
But even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glimpse of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
There shouldn't be.
There's absolutely no price on the planet in order to make that fight because it is dangerous.
Back when Paul was just starting in boxing, Joshua gave him a surprisingly friendly compliment in a 2025 interview. When asked about Paul, Joshua simply said, "He's good for boxing." That showed he was willing to admit that Paul brought more attention to the sport, even if many people didn't think Paul would last long. Now things are different. The fight is real and the stakes are much higher. Paul comes in with a 12-1 record and 7 knockouts, facing the toughest fight of his career. Joshua, a former unified world heavyweight champion, brings a strong 28-4 record.
Jake Paul's trying to fight Anthony Joshua now. How do you think that's going to go?
Man, Anthony Joshua, I don't know why I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. No disrespect to Jake Paul, I think Anthony Joshua would knock him out. I'm saying like within like 2-3 rounds.
Yeah.
You saw what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou?
Yeah.
Come on, I never seen Francis get knocked out.
Yeah, that was huge too.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
huge.
both huge.
Yeah, he's huge. But you got to hear the story. You got to get Francis Ngannou in here and hear this story though.
I'd love to.
Bro, he was set up though, for real. I believe
that fight?
Yeah, I believe him. Cause here's what they do. Like what sometimes what people don't understand. Like in boxing too, I don't know a whole lot about boxing. You know, when you fight for promotion, they promote that fighter. So he's fighting in Saudi Arabia. So they was probably fighting at 3 a.m. and they had him in the locker room since like 12 o'clock. You don't do that to the fight.
At their first face-off on November 21st, Joshua didn't hold back. He said this fight is huge, a serious, professional event that mixes star power with real skill. He warned that he's fully focused and will show no mercy. During the same press conference for their December 19th fight, Paul was asked about his weight. He said he had been cutting weight for another fight, so gaining back for a heavyweight match is tough. He guessed he would weigh around 215 to 225 pounds.
Good team, nothing negative. He's here to do his job. I could sit up here, as I said, and try and address all the things that Jake doesn't do good. But I'm fighting Jake that's going to do everything good on December 19th. So let me focus on that. He's a good person, does his thing, great team around him, puts in the work, and that's why he's sitting here now. Anyone out there in the world that works harder than the next person deserves to be a front runner, and he's a front runner in the boxing game right now.
Respect. Jake, can I ask, it feels to me from afar, you're in a bit of a lose-lose here because it seems like a lot of people want to see you get obliterated, right? A lot of people want to see you get your comeuppance. And if you do pull off the upset or if this fight goes the distance, again, the whispers will start to come. People will discredit you. People will say, this, that, and the other about the fight. How do you balance that and how do you deal with that?
Man, I've already won at every single thing in life. I'm playing on house money. I've accomplished all my dreams, said everything I was going to do, from becoming, the first influencer to become an actor on Disney, to becoming the biggest YouTuber in the world, to rising to the top of boxing and having the largest viewed fight in the history of the sport. I've accomplished everything. So this is a win-win and another challenge for myself. I've never been knocked down or knocked out even in sparring, but I'm in a sport where that happens. And I know this is dangerous, but this is no different than a soccer player, losing in the World Cup on the biggest stage. If that's how it goes, if I take one of those punches that Francis Ngannou took and I'm on the canvas, let's see how tough I am. Let's see if I can get back up. But I'm ready for that. I'm prepared for that mentally, and I know that he has to deal with me as well. This is not as one-sided fight as people think, and I have power. I have the ability to put people to sleep, and so that's why I took this challenge. And I know it's crazy and all of that, but I'm excited. I'm genuinely excited. My team's excited, and everyone believes in me, and that's all that matters.
How much do you expect to weigh on fight night?
Man, I was cutting down for Gervonta, so it's been a little tough getting back up in some strength for this, but anywhere 215 to 225, we'll see.
Okay, and I want to clear something up with you, AJ. I saw in the press release that it said that on weigh-in day, you can't weigh above 245, but post weigh-ins, you can weigh whatever you want. There's no rehydration clause or anything like that. Is that accurate?
Whatever it says, yeah, I think that's the case, but my focus, 111 kilograms, is what I got to weigh in at, right? I do kilograms, not
Yeah,
pounds.
I don't know. You stumped me on that one. What is 111? Should I look it up?
245.
Okay, 245, yeah.
Jake Paul says this fight is his chance to prove all his critics wrong, people who say he only fights small or washed-up opponents. He believes that by taking on Anthony Joshua, a real heavyweight and former world champion, he's showing he belongs at the top level. Paul says that once he beats Joshua, all doubts will disappear and no one will be able to deny him. Their fight is a fully approved professional heavyweight match under the Marquis of Queensberry rules. They'll fight 8 rounds each 3 minutes long, and both must wear 10-ounce gloves. Joshua also has to weigh 245 pounds or less to keep things fair. A loss in this winter fight will go on both of their official records.
They said, fight a real boxer. They said, fight someone your size. They said, fight a world champion. We looked at a long list of supposed fighters for me to fight. The world. Make no mistake, this is the biggest fight of my career. I'm walking into the lion's den. I'm doing something that no one else has ever done before. I, Jake Joseph Paul, will knock out, defeat, and embarrass Anthony Joshua Friday, December 19th, live on Netflix. My voice cracked, I'm still going through puberty. The biggest fight of 2025, USA versus UK. He's got the belts, the size, the history, but I have the balls. Be careful what you wish for. Jake versus Joshua, Judgment Day. He has a 90% knockout ratio, but I have a 100% chance of drinking this Celsius.
Teddy Atlas has a careful but curious view of the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. He warns that this might be too big of a jump for Paul because Joshua has way more skill and experience. But he doesn't completely rule the fight out. He mentions Joshua's recent knockout loss and long break from boxing, saying those issues could make Joshua easier to beat. Even though Atlas agrees Joshua is still the stronger and better fighter, he says he's open to seeing what version of AJ shows up on fight night.
Having said all of that, this might be a step too far. Now, when I say it, I'm also, I try to be responsible. I've been in this game 50 years, so I know where not to step, where you could twist an ankle, or worse, you could break a leg or fall down. When I say that with the understanding, too, that Joshua's coming off being knocked out. Joshua hasn't fought for a year, right? But it's about a year. And there's some ghost in his attic. There are. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's gotten rid of some of them, but I know that in the position of a fighter coming where he's coming from, there are ghosts in your attic. I don't know if those ghosts are still taking up space. I don't know if maybe there could be no better exorcism for those ghosts than fighting a Jake Paul. That might be just the exorcism you need to clear out the attic. I don't know. That's the problem. We don't know. That's the mystery part of this. That's what makes it so It makes it two things at once: intriguing and, in some ways, infuriating.
Ryan Garcia talks about how losing this fight could change Jake Paul's life. He says Joshua's power is no joke, and a loss could hurt Paul not just physically but also damage his reputation and career. Garcia explains that this shows how big the challenge really is for Paul. He stresses that Joshua's strength and skill make this a very serious test, and the consequences of losing are real. Paul needs strong training, smart preparation, and full awareness to handle the danger Joshua brings to the ring. Another concern is that Joshua has only fought twice in the last 2 years. After his split decision loss to Alexander Usyk in 2022, Joshua has been fighting less often.
Who do you got, Jake Paul or Anthony Joshua?
Anthony Joshua?
By far?
Yeah. Too easy.
Why did he take that fight?
I think he didn't have no opponents and he wanted to make Netflix happy, and I think he made a misstep. I think he was handling his career perfectly.
Yeah.
I think he would have beat Gervonta.
I think he would have beat Gervonta too.
But I think this is a big misstep. I think he let his ego get in from him and let the fans decide.
Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua isn't just a big gamble, it's a serious risk. Many experts say it could even be dangerous for his health. People like Ariel Helwani warned that Joshua's strength and long experience could lead to Paul taking real damage, with the chance of a brutal knockout being a true worry.
Joshua, in his last 7 fights, has been beaten 3 times. The 4 fighters that he beat didn't come to win. So he's not in his prime, is he? He's literally at the end of his career, pretty much finished. And this is why taking this fight with you is telling you all you need to know. It's a cash out. He might as well just cream as much money as he can at the end of his career, fighting an absolute joke shop in clown world. When I beat Anthony Joshua, he says, every doubt disappears. Come on. I mean, if this is a straight up AJ versus Jake Paul, then we all know what should happen. This is a 1-round job because AJ, even though he's past his best, even though he's seen better days, he throws a nice 1-2 down the middle. He's got a nice bit of distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tommy Fury, for crying out loud. He can't jump in with Anthony Joshua now and expect to get a result. So, no doubt's going to disappear. All that's going to happen is going to be the end of fake Paul.
Rising heavyweight Moses Itama told Paul to think about his health more than the money, warning that one wrong punch could cause long-term damage. And former pro Amir Khan said it even more clearly, Joshua could hurt Paul badly, even causing brain damage.
And I think Joshua sparked him out in 2 rounds. Really? Yeah, why do you look surprised when I don't?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying.
Come on, bro, you're fighting one of the best heavyweight fighters in the world against a YouTuber. Come on. Respect the sport of boxing. And if AJ has to go in there and show these influencers that, listen, you can't fuck about with boxing. You know what I mean? Someone's going to get hurt badly, and this could be one of the first fights where a fighter gets hurt badly, because if you look at the size difference and the power difference, I mean, bro, there could be brain damages going on. AJ could hurt him badly, you know.
Well, when you look at Francis Ngannou, who's one of the most fearsome combat styles there is. I know it's MMA, but we saw what AJ did to Ngannou. So,
and that's why you don't look. You can't be surprised if AJ is going to do the same to what's it called again? What? Jake Paul.
MMA fighter Darren Till shared his thoughts, calling Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua disrespectful. He believes Paul, even with his strong marketing skills, hasn't earned the right to call out a top boxer like Joshua. Many people in the boxing world agree, saying Paul is stepping way outside his level.
Is it all just, does he actually believe that he can beat Anthony Joshua? Is it all for clout? Is it all just to keep his... I don't know. I mean, fucking... It's a little bit disrespectful as well. Anthony Joshua hasn't fucking been a heavyweight world champion, beating all these absolute killers just to get called out by Jake Paul. But look, if Jake Paul believes in himself, then, you can't really fault that. Obviously, but sometimes it comes across as a bit delusion as well. Because I know for a fact that I'd fight Jake, I'd beat him up easy. Not easy, I'd beat him up though.
David Hay gave a strong warning about the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, calling it a clear mismatch. He told Sky News that Joshua could seriously hurt Paul and said he's very worried about Paul's safety. Hay even said that if Paul ignores Joshua's size, power, and experience, it could be his last day on earth. The size difference between them is huge. Joshua is 6 feet 6 inches with an 82-inch reach, while Paul is about 6 feet 1 inch with a 76-inch reach. Joshua usually weighs around 240 to 245 pounds, and for this fight he must stay under 245. Paul has mostly fought at cruiserweight and only recently bulked up to around 227 in his past heavyweight fights. This big size and weight gap gives Joshua a major advantage in power and reach.
Big money fight, £100 million potentially. Are you confident it'll happen?
I wasn't confident when I first heard about it. It sounds like one of those fairy tale fights that people talk about but don't actually get over the line. I heard this 3-4 months ago. I just dismissed it. I heard it a week ago. I went along with it, but deep down I thought this isn't going to happen. And today it's been made official. Jake Paul is going to get in a ring in a boxing match, boxing gloves, to mix it with one of the most dangerous heavyweights on the planet, someone who is Olympic gold medalist, won the heavyweight championship twice, although he lost his last fight against a very good Daniel Dubois. He's a top 10 heavyweight on the planet versus internet sensation, someone who's a latecomer to boxing and has boxed at a very moderate level. I'm talking domestic level. And he lost to Tommy Fury, for instance. And Tommy Fury, who he lost to, versus Anthony Joshua, they're two completely different sports. So I commend Jake Paul for putting himself in harm's way, because boxing is a dangerous game. People have died in the ring. People have been seriously injured, maimed. And he believes in himself enough to do it on a massive scale, because it's not about the money. He's got enough money. This is him wanting to push the boundaries of reality. He's manifested an amazing life for himself. He's a superstar. And I think he wants to try and do the unthinkable. He wants to. It's an insane challenge he's put himself up for, but you've got to give him credit.
You say an insane challenge. You've described it before as Jake Paul being a cat versus Anthony Joshua's lion.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not equally matched on any sense, are they?
There's not one element of their boxing skill set that Jake Paul can come 15, 20% in regards to Anthony Joshua. He's a completely different specimen. Look, you'll see what it looks like when they stand next to each other. And Anthony Joshua, he's not a bodybuilder. He's a prime athlete. He's someone who's dedicated his life to this. He lives it. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. He's a real clean athlete who is going to inflict some horrendous damage to Jake Paul. And I hope we've got a referee in there who's quite compassionate, because if Jake Paul is left, up against the ropes with Anthony Joshua unloading on him.
Joshua's team is expecting a fast and powerful win. Hearn boldly said Paul could be knocked out in 4 rounds, claiming one clean hit from Joshua could end the fight. Hearn says this fight is a way for Joshua to rebuild his reputation and possibly set up an even bigger match in 2026, maybe against Tyson Fury. Now focus is back on top-level heavyweight boxing.
So, obviously, AJ versus Jake Paul. Not gonna lie, did not ever see this happening, like ever, ever, ever. So, were you just as surprised when he agreed to do it as the world was?
Yeah, I mean, I had to deal with obviously knowing that it might happen. And then the contract coming through, signed by Jake Paul, and I sort of looked at it, I was like, oh my God, he's done it. So yeah, look, I have to give him credit. I do think he's crazy. I think he's got absolutely no chance. I think he's going to get smashed to pieces.
Do you think Jake's crazy?
Yeah, I mean totally. I mean, listen, for us, we received an offer that was massive money and a really easy fight. We were talking about fighting this week here in an 8-round fight. Now we're fighting in an 8-round fight for 40 times more money against Jake Paul. So I love the opportunity for AJ on so many levels.
Is Jake Paul really in serious danger by fighting Anthony Joshua?